Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to C.A.R. Entertainment. I'm your host Dylan Hamilton, and today guys we're going to be talking about some A21 business studies. I know it's not on the screen there for you to know what it actually is we're going to be discussing, but we are going to be discussing risk and contingency planning today. So yeah, that's what we're going to be discussing, some risk and contingency planning and why business need to put together a contingency plan, because well, during risks it may backfire or something else might happen and you'll need that backup plan. So let's get into it. A business risk is a circumstance or a factor that may have a material and a negative impact on the operation or the profitability of a given firm the business is carrying out. So the different forms, and the first one we're going to discuss is political risk. And you manage this by having managers keeping up to date and becoming aware of the policy intentions of the main political parties. So for example, in the UK, it'd be Labour and Conservative, find out what their main policy intentions are, to do specifically the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. And competitive risk will be managed by carrying out SWOT analysis, by continuing doing market research and carrying out your Boston matrices, etc. The other types of risk are organizational risk, which you can manage by having a clear understanding of how one department's actions will impact upon another department. You can also offer appropriate incentives for those who are adopting new rules where restructuring in the firm is necessary. Stakeholder risk you can manage by consulting with the stakeholders that are likely to be affected by the decision well in advance before actually carrying the decision out. A quantifiable risk is the likelihood of a predictable risk occurring, so it's possible to put a value on this sort of risk, whereas an unquantifiable risk is a risk of an event that is unexpected, and this is sometimes referred to as the unknown unknowns, and it's not possible to put a value on this sort of risk. Risk management then, how do we actually go through and do risk management and the process, etc.? Well, first off, what is it? Well, risk management is activities that are undertaken by a firm which are designed to control and minimize threats to the continuing efficiency, profitability and success of its operations. To carry out risk management, you will identify and analyze the risks to which the organization will be exposed to. You will then measure the likelihood of these risks occurring and assess the potential impacts of them, then decide what action is to be taken to either eliminate it or reduce it. Then take the list of risks to form a risk register, and then you analyze and treat these risks. And this is where contingency planning comes in, which is whenever you plan for what will happen if things go wrong, which will mean there'll be an agreed course of action being in place, which will be ready to be used if necessary. Why will you need a plan? Well, the plan will identify the risk which will greatly impact the business. You cannot reduce the risk to an acceptable level without this contingency plan. If a fire or flood occurs, it will destroy the factory. You need a contingency plan to know what's going to happen after this happens. So the same thing will result from a complete ICT failure, and if a pressure group accuses the business of behaving unethically, the contingency plan could just say, no, you're wrong. So what happens if you don't have a contingency plan? Well, employees might not have a livelihood because they may become redundant if a disaster happens. Suppliers will take fewer orders and therefore they'll suffer a drop in revenue. Customers will be let down. The local community will experience a fall in income from job losses, and the government will lose tax revenue. So your stakeholders are basically not going to have a fun time off it. What are solutions? Well, you can ensure your insurance policies are up to date and keep a cushion of cash so you can use this. Also have private healthcare for key employees, and you can also take out trial runs as well. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of contingency planning? Well, you can use email to identify any possible events that take place. Forces to consider alternative courses of action, so you're not just stuck on the one course of action. You have to think of many. The alternative method of achieving key business objectives. There's more methods of achieving your objectives by doing this. It facilitates decision-making process where you can negotiate an optimum deal. By the way, these advantages and disadvantages are also for risk, just FYI, so these can be used in risk as well. The disadvantages is that it's costly activity and it will involve a huge number of highly qualified staff. I'm your YD Dylan Hamilton from C.A.R. Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.